We are talking about the product, and let's talk about the following. What are the biggest challenges to have an IT/OT platform? Let's think together. Well, we need to think about, if we ever wanted to create a software, we need to think about the following things in order to let our software be considered as an IT/OT platform. We have connectivity. We need to give a software that allows the people to interface using different protocols. We need also to think that these people will have also special requirements. So we need to have the possibility to modify our protocol in an easy, fast way. And after that, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, there is a new protocol for that specific industry field. So we need to think about a software that allows us to integrate easily new protocols. Except that, we talk about data integration. We are all from the industry, and we know that when we receive a new project, we think about the architecture of the project, the data structure. But we know that this data structure that we thought is not going to be the final one. The project data structure evolves with the project. And sometimes, even for example, when you go on the fat phase only, you end up with a situation from the other stakeholder, be like, I modified the PLC program in order to be more performant. I added new information because they were missing. And after that, it's up to you to add them. And sometimes during fat phase, you want to be fast and easily be able to modify this data structure. Except that, we talk about IT system. Like, for example, the visit that we will have tomorrow, they have their own customer with already his own IT infrastructure installation. He has his third-party tool. He has his business logic. He has his IT network. And he's not going to change everything just to have your SCADA. Except that, security, which is really important. If we think about a software, we need to think about a software that is secure by default. We're not going to sell a software that, hey, okay, so here's my software. Now think about how to integrate your security layer. And now, I have the following question for you. Do you guys think that SIMATIC WinCC Open Architecture is an IT/OT platform? Well, let's figure this out together. We start by connectivity. In WinCC OA, we have a lot of connectors, whether southbound or northbound. And now, let's focus on the southbound one. In WinCC OA, I'm not going to promote the performance or the reliability of our drivers. I think that the OEM partners and the visits and also the project that you see speaks from themselves. But what you get to know is that with one project, you can have multiple drivers running simultaneously. You just click, add, configure, and use. And also what is great with our driver is that we have a layer that is called smoothing. What is it? Basically, in some industries like pharmaceutical, or electrification, they know their process. So they know that, for example, if I receive a new value that is not higher than the previous one with, 5% or 10%, I should ignore it. Because I don't want my database to be full with information that are not meaningful for me. And therefore, in all of our driver, we have this feature which is called smoothing that allows you to define which are the data that are important for you. And of course, the driver can run simultaneously, no problem, whether from performance point of view or configuration. Everything is smooth and easy. Just some clicks, get your periphery addresses, and set your data points. After that, let's talk about the northbound connectors. We have OPC UA, MQTT, Inside Hub, OPC Classic. In addition to the southbound connectors that we have, we can also have those. And you can run them. The most important thing from WinCC OA that we care about is that, first of all, you need to think that the ports are open. And second of all, you should follow also our security guideline in order to set up a secure communication. And what is great also is that in WinCC OA, we can be both server or client. Let's imagine you have, for example, your PLC, you're getting your value. You can have WinCC OA as your OPC UA server. And your third-party tool can come there, subscribe, and get the data via OPC protocol or MQTT protocol. And I don't know, we are in 2024 and the cloud is trending. If you want to run them in the cloud, there is no issue. We already tested it, we tried it, and it's working fine. And let's imagine, like, you're using WinCC OA and your customer comes to you and tell you, I need a new protocol. And it's missing in WinCC OA. Well, we got you. Because in WinCC OA, we have what we call an API manager. Basically, this API is based on C# C++, or Node.js, and it will allow you to create your own feature, protocol of communication that is required from your customer in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And don't forget, tomorrow there is a workshop regarding Node.js. Don't miss it. Now, let's talk about data integration. And for that, let's start small. The simplest architecture available in WinCC OA is the standalone project. Basically, it's one project, one database, connected to the PLCs, and you have your UI running. That's fine. After that, let's say that you want to run this database remotely. That's fine too, because from your end customer, he needs maybe to have this database running in a specific server so he can interface with his third-party tool, and that's fine. After that, let's say you want to use other UIs. Well, WinCC OA already got multiple types. You can either run WinCC OA in a normal computer, that's fine. You can also use a browser. You can use your phone or a tablet. Just make sure that you can establish a secure communication to the project, and that's it. Now, let's go a bit more to a more reliable architecture, which is the redundancy architecture. Basically, redundancy is like it's described in the industry. One fails, the other one take over, and you're sure that your project is running smoothly. Now, let's think that we want to run the database remotely. That's fine. Just do it. Make sure that the communication is there, and from WinCC OA, you just have some clicks to do in order to configure it and make it work. Now, let's talk about something that is crazy in point of view of redundancy. In a nutshell, I would say that imagine you have a redundancy, and you add to this redundancy another layer of redundancy. This is our disaster recovery system. When we thought about this architecture, we thought about the infrastructure that needs to run all the time and want to be protected from catastrophe. It can be a natural catastrophe, it can be caused by human, but basically the idea is to have two separate server rooms, and in one server room you will have a redundant server with redundancy. In another room you will have also a redundant server, and they will be interconnected via our disaster recovery connection. Both of these servers will be actively connected to both of the PLCs that are in the field, but also your user interfaces. So if you lose one room, the other room can take over. Now, let's switch to another architecture. Distributed. What do we mean by distributed architecture? Basically, it's two different or multiple different WinCC OA servers intercommunicated between one another in a secured way, exchanging data and possibly reacting from the value that is being processed from one server to another one. And let's grow this architecture more because, I mean, we are using WinCC OA, so we can do that at any time we want. For this use case, let's say we have 3 servers. And let's think about a use case. Imagine like you have a plant with 2 sectors, and your customer tell you, okay, I want to split this in 2 sectors, and I want to have a main control room. That's easy with WinCC OA. Create a WinCC OA project for the sector 1. It can has its own logic, its own user interface. It reads its own data. That's fine. We create another one for the sector 2, the same, another logic, another information, another data structure. And after that, we come and create the system that will be used to monitor all of them. And with distributed communication, you can visualize and see all what is happening. So basically, you split your infrastructure in one sector, one UI responsible for this, one UI responsible for here, and one UI to rule them all and see everything. And now, let's go a bit deeper and talk about the IT systems. Well, for that, I will take the previous architecture that we had, and I will just grow it because I like to do that. With WinCC OA, you can really run whatever you want. For us, our vision is to always support the most reliable and performant operating system that exists in the industry world. Whether they are in the cloud, Azure or AWS, a normal machine, Windows, Linux, Dockerized environment, or virtualized environment, there is no issue. With WinCC OA, just run it and answer the requirement of your customer. Now, let's talk about security. Well, WinCC OA is secured by default. So basically, when you use WinCC OA and you set up your certificate following our security guideline, you will have a secure project. And for that, we take this architecture and we talk a bit about what is a demilitarized zone. For that, I will take the previous distributed architecture that I have, and I will add one WinCC OA project running somewhere. This WinCC OA project, the new one, will be located in an open network. And from this project, I can communicate to the secured area where I have all of my distributed system intercommunicated through the DMZ. And I can use this single project that is located in the open network as a single access point for my different UIs. So basically, I will have the UIs connected to the open network through the server. And with the DM zone, it will get the information that are being exchanged within my distributed system. After that, I wanted to tell you a bit about our remote project in general. The idea is that, as you know, WinCC OA, it has a lot of managers, database, drivers, etc., etc., etc. With the remote project, what you can do is that you can run each single one of our managers separately in a separate machine. And for this, I wanted to take the example of the remote proxy. Basically, it will be a WinCC OA project with just the proxy manager running. And after that, I'm going to use this proxy manager to connect to my distributed system. Easy. It will be like a gateway from the UI directly to my distributed system. And that's why, from what we saw until now, that we say that with WinCC OA, you really can scale without limit. Start small today, grow, modify, add new servers, change the architecture, make it secure, run it wherever you want. It's WinCC OA. You are really free. And now, I would like to get back to our challenges. Connectivity, IT, systems, data integration, security, check, 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 and double check. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we say that WinCC OA is and always has been an IT/OT platform.